the day after the Yom Kippur War of 73, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar, Egypt and Syria opened up a coordinated surprise attack against Israel on their most holy day. 180 Israeli tanks faced an onslaught of 1,400 Syrian tanks along the Suez Canal. 500 Israeli defenders were attacked by 80,000 Egyptians. Who won the Yom Kippur War? Israel. Well, I should say God. And some years ago, I had the privilege of listening to a former general in the IDF. His name was Gershon Solomon. Some of you might remember, I think it was back in 1990, there was a group that all of you may not have been around in 1990, but some of you were. There was a group that said they were going to set the cornerstone for the third temple. And there were riots, and there were 100 Palestinians killed, and Israelis injured, and all this stuff. And it was by the efforts of a group called the Temple Mount Faithful Movement. And the head of that movement was Gershon Solomon. And I had a chance to hear him talk. He was here in the U.S., and he told his own story. And he said in 1958, he was accidentally run over by an Israeli tank in a battle with the Syrian army. And by rule, the Syrians were all instructed, when you find an Israeli on the field of battle who is wounded, shoot them in the head. And so he, being a general, he would be a major coup for any soldier or group of soldiers or battalion to have as a trophy. And so he was laying face down in the sand with his back and pelvis broken, and he walked with a cane until the end of his life. But he said he could hear them in their war cries as he lay face down, waiting for the sound of that rifle to end his life as a bullet would launch into the back of his head. And he said as he lay there and heard these hundreds of troops crying out and yelling and screaming in joy, all of a sudden it fell silent. And then he was recovered by Israeli forces and taken to the hospital, obviously, and he lived. And years later, at a peace conference, he ran into the opposing Syrian general. And he asked him, "Why didn't you kill me?" And the man instantly said, "The angels." There were hundreds of thousands of them on the hills all around the battlefield. And we ran.